Hiya. Today I'm going to go through a bit of a review about the Elddis Accordo 135, which will obviously relate to some of the other models as well. It's a total beginner's guide. I only got our camper just over a month ago, and since then we've been out on good weekends, long weekends, day trips, and today this is the second day of actually travelling from one place to another. So we've had to put up camp, take down camp, put up camp, and then we'll be moving on again. And all this is designed around our first holiday, which will be travelling around the coast of Wales, and then at the end of the year going to Scotland. The idea is to find all the things that we're missing, and look at all the plus points and all the minus points, and also look at how we can make things easier for ourselves, which we've already found out. So as I said, it's not a specialist review. I'm just doing it sat here on the mobile phone, standard sound and everything. It's to give people information. So we got the van second hand. It's had HAB checks every single year. It's got its certificates and everything. It's just walked straight through the MOT. Really, really pleased with it, and it's running. Just had an indicator light go out the other day. Came straight up on the fault dials on the dash. Unscrewed it, 2 minutes, put a bulb in, done, finished. So yeah, other than that, absolutely perfect. Very pleased with it. It's in great condition, and it's only done just under 30,000 miles, and it's a 2016. So I'm just going to go through the total basics. I'll start at the front. I've not driven one before, and based on a Peugeot Boxer model, I couldn't believe how it drove. It was absolutely fantastic. I'm sat here now in the chair, swiveled round, and I've got the armrest. I'm totally comfortable. I've closed the blinds, so obviously we've got a little bit of, we've not got so much glare coming into the screen. The cab, neat, tidy, 6-speed box, diesel, loads of power. In fact, we've just got hold of a Toyota Aygo and an A-frame fitted, believe it or not, and all the necessary alterations to the car from somebody who was just about to sell one and was a friend of mine. So not only did we get a good deal on the motorhome, we ended up with a fantastic deal on an Aygo with an A-frame. We had a tow bar fitted on this, £700, and was 600 something, and it went straight on and perfect. So that's just the transportation side of it. We just figured, even though this is a small van, that going round in Wales and Scotland and probably going down to Devon and Cornwall, these back lanes, we can park the van up no matter how small it is, and for low cost, £20 tax and 50 miles to the gallon, we can run this little Aygo round and have a good time. So the cab got both swivelling seats. This driver's seat swivels round to a table, which on the 135 has got 2 seats at the other side and 2 seat belts. So it is a 3-berth van, but with 4 seat belts, so we can carry 4 people. If we have an awning on the outside, I don't mean the roll-out awning which this has got, I mean a full-time awning. Then the good thing about it is we can we can take the grandchildren away, etc., etc., and we've got that out there. If we don't take an outdoor awning, we take a small tent, which is a quick pop-up, 2 minutes, literally out the bag, bang, up, and that's great for just putting things in when we're going out, or if it starts to rain, excuse me, and we want to put something away quickly. We do also have a Breeze All Pro awning, which is an air awning. It's about 9 foot by 9 foot, and it goes up within 10 minutes max. Comes down in the same time in a bag, and off you go. So that's good. We have 3 dogs. They are Cocker Spaniels, and if anybody's got anything bigger than that and you're looking at this 135 or this type of size, the 3 Spaniels we just manage nicely. One of them sleeps under the table here where I'm sat. One of them sleeps under the bed space at the back when the legs are pulled out. And our little dog that we've got, Eva, which is the little monkey of the pack, she decides where she's sleeping. Sometimes sleeps in the alleyway, and sometimes, like spaniels do, jumps up on the bed and sleeps at the bottom of the bed. And in the morning, yes, we do have 3 spaniels on our bed. Excuse me if the light goes down. As I said, this is a rough video. I'm only doing it leant up against the laptop, and I'm probably looking off to one side, so excuse that as well. I'll try my best, but so yeah, going from here, the table will adjust in height and in position. I've got to admit, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not exactly the smallest guy, but sat on the other side where the 2 seats are, because the luxury backrest push forward, and I feel as though I'm being pushed forward myself. So I love this seat here. It's the perfect height, perfect distance away from the table, working on computers, having my lunch or breakfast or whatever, and keeping away from the sleeping compartment, in the morning when Kerry's still resting. So I'm just sat here chilled now. What Kerry did do is she went on the forums, which is a fantastic idea, which is probably where this video will end up, and most people were saying that they changed the back cushion and then covered it back over again, because you will find that even if you're the slimmest kind of person, it does push you forward. So when we change those cushions, even I can sit on the other side, but I like this throne here because it's good, and I can access and get out and get to the kettle, or we have a coffee machine, low wattage, and it's just there, so it's an arm's reach away. So yeah, the seating's good, and above it there's 2 cupboards. You've got your lighting, you've got an electrical socket up here as well, and the electrical socket is great, obviously, for laptops and etc. Laptops and things like that. I'm not going to go back through and edit this or correct anything. Make mistakes. It's nobody's perfect. So behind the passenger seat is the pole for taking out the winch awning on the outside. Got to admit, that is absolutely fantastic. You can get it out in seconds, legs down, peg it in, and it's done within seconds and put away in the same time. It's withheld good wind at the moment. When we've had it blowing about, you can hear it a little bit, but it's withheld it really well. And we have bought some storm straps for it as well, the actual pucker firmer storm straps, about £30 I think they were, but they do a good job, and when they're on, you can tell a difference. It's very, very taut, but they've got springs in the bottom, so nothing's going to get ripped again, which is good. So let's go. It's quite hard because we're planning on going. I'm planning on telling you the inside, and I keep going outside. But once I go back from the seating area here, across there we have the kitchen area, which is Kerry's department. She doesn't even like me anywhere near it, apart from that coffee machine. There's a sink with a tap with hot and cold, and obviously, as you will know, I don't need to go into that, but you've got either gas for heating, you've got hookup, and you've got leisure battery, so you've got different alternatives, but I think that's a different video. It's obvious that this van's got that on that, but you have got leisure battery for your 12-volt sockets, etc., etc. It'll be powered all the time. Going back to the sink, one thing we did find, and we took a tip off a lot of different people, is on the opposite side, on the cooker top side, we got another chopping board, and it was bought from IKEA for about £9. Fits perfect, and it does quite a few things. Allows you a draining board type cover, it allows you to prepare food on it, obviously, and it also protects your surfaces from the cupboards above in case anything fell out when you're doing that. But you must well package everything that you're putting into your van. Don't go chancing it. Make sure it's basically nailed down, and then you're covered, because if you were to have to pull up sharp and you think you've packed something well, that's when you're going to come unstuck for definite. The hot and cold water, like I say, very, very good. Hot water's a fantastic temperature as well. You have no problems with that. Cooker's great. Kerry's had no problems. She found out that there was only one tray in ours. Probably there is in everyone when you get them, but she got a secondary tray, and that's fantastic, so she can move things up and down between there. All your cupboards, all your doors have got push latches, locks, so once you've shut them, you can push them in and they'll lock, they'll not move about. And the fridge has got a lock on the top as well. Fridge is excellent. You don't even need it on full cooling temperature. There's loads of cupboards up at the top. Kerry's put little labels on boxes and put them within the cupboards, our long cupboard above the fridge, she's put a little shelving unit in there, not a permanent one, just box units which go in. Fantastic. And she's labelled everything, so even I know where they are, because I don't look very well. So the drainage and everything obviously goes straight out into your grey waste, so you've no problems there. No messing about this van, as you would have expected. Everything is clean, tidy and efficient. The table for going in the back, if you don't have the double bed up, is just in the hab door and on the end of the kitchen sink, tucked away and locked in, so that's quite good as well. Over to the toilet and shower area, that's on the left hand side behind the two passenger seats at this table. It's a good area, and as I've said once, I'm not the smallest of guys, and I'm also a little bit claustrophobic. So one of the tests I had was to make sure that I could fit in there okay, having a shower, toilet, etc. And I've managed to cope with it. If you go to a site and the toilets and showers are near, I cannot see for any reason why people can't use those as well. In fact, that's where I've just returned from the shower block. I decided not to do it here. I went over there, and really, really good. But getting back to it, the shower tilts, turns, so you can turn it when you're having a shower and create yourself more room, and the curtain pulls round. We've attached another curtain because the curtain doesn't go fully round, because it's a waterproof unit, but we don't want to be wiping everything down either. Advice for you, a little chamois in there and a little shower, whatever you want to call them, squeegee rubber thing. The cupboards are ample enough. What you've got to make sure you do with motorhomes, we found out, is do 2 or 3 trips, and if you don't use it, throw it out. Don't bring it again. And make a list of the things that you've not put in and you do need. So you spend 2 or 3 trips doing this with your stuff, taking something out, putting some back, modifying. We modified this front table, by the way, but that's just personal choice, just so that suits us, and can go a little bit higher. But going back to the toilets, let's forget those, in the shower. Shower's fantastic. The power in it is amazing for what it is. I was quite shocked. I find that if I'm washing my hair and not having a shower, I just want to have a good wash and everything, I can be quite lazy. Open the top of the toilet, sit on there. It's the perfect height for cleaning my teeth, brushing what hair I've got or waxing it. And also, if you were just washing your hair, you could do it over the sink. We do put some matting on the floor, although it's a shower base, and you'd think, well, why are you doing all that? You just wipe the shower base out. If somebody's coming straight in after you and you're not wiped it properly, you've got wet feet, etc., etc. But that matting's great, and if you do wet it, you can pull one out. So we've got two on top of each other. And as I said, all there's enough shelves, and there's a set of white cupboards underneath. They feel a bit feeble, a bit flimsy, but they're not. You've got to treat everything with respect in the motorhome. That's what I feel and what I find. Now, getting on to the main part of this motorhome, myself and Kerry do like a nice bed. We've got a king-size bed at home. So coming to this, where you're sleeping across the motorhome, I'm 5'10.5", and I fit in perfect. If you were 6'1", that's when you'd start to feel your head at one end and your feet at the other. But if you're not 6'1", you'll be okay. The other thing as well is, if you've ever caravanned, you'll understand what I'm going to say. When we're at home and we've got a bed, we can get out either side. So if I want to get out, I won't disturb Kerry, or vice versa. But Kerry sleeps on the other side near the garage door, which is on the back of these vans. And I sleep on this inside because I get up to the toilet usually at night, 3 or 4 o'clock. If I was to sleep the other side, it'd be absolute chaos, because I'd be crawling over Kerry and waking her up, disturbing her. As it is now, slide my feet out, stand up, straight in the toilet, no problem. If Kerry wants to get up, then that's my problem, but she very rarely does. Hard to wake her up when she goes to sleep. But what I will say is the design of the van. We've found that we eat outside on anything that is a normal day, at the tables under the awning. So because we've got dogs, we've set the bed up. We'll leave it set up. On the back of the van is the garage door, so we can lift that up. Anything we want to put away, we can put under there. In the bedding in the day, we might put under there, but leave a sheet out, a blanket on the bed. We have sometimes pulled one side out, as you would call it, 3/4, and left the other side as it is, so there's still a gap in the middle. But to be quite honest with you, because we use this little table where I'm sat now, very, very convenient. We prefer to leave that bed up, one flat bed. We've got no problems with the dogs when we're on holiday jumping on there. We have got waterproof covers on every single seat in the van, and our dogs are van trained, house trained, and we don't have any problems. In the morning, they line up down here where I'm sat at my feet, because I get up first and wait for the door, and I press the door and they go outside. We have a dog compound on the van, and again, properly trained, and they don't go near the van. They go to the outside and have a wee, come back in. The rest of it is later on in the morning, the proper toilet. So going back to the bed, what we've found as well is once you're on there at night, it's that comfortable. It's, I need a cup of coffee. You don't want to get back up again, or, if Kerry's going to make the coffee, she's got to get over me. So we'll sit up and watch television, but you just sit there and think, and that's it. So what we found was no shelving. This is in the 135, don't forget. At the back is the bar for the table, and we've found a wicked way of putting a small shelf in there, which doesn't affect any of the setups. It will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 cups of coffee, or in my case, 6 bottles of wine. No, only a joke. 6 bottles of beer. No, only a joke. A couple of bottles of beer. On the other side where I sleep, where the bed comes up, there is a small hardwood piece there, which I'm going to screw into and put a shelf there, which will take a cup and a bottle. It'll only take that much, but it's enough, because if you've done your party outside and you've come in at night and you've got a bottle or you've got a cup or whatever, a glass of wine, these shelves are out the way, you won't knock them off. And I will be putting some pictures into this video, just breaking them in when I've done, so that people can see things. But I'm sure there'll be loads of people commenting and loads of people saying, oh, well, we've done this, we've done that. That's great. If it makes conversation, even if it's Chris, that you've done that wrong, or why don't you do this, I'm happy with that, because all we want is to drive, go, enjoy ourselves, pack up, come home with no hassle. So the easier we can all make it for ourselves, the far better it is. So getting back to the bed again, we've slept in it without a mattress topper. It was semi-comfortable, but we've gone out and we've not skimped. I think it was £90, and we bought a proper mattress topper, and it is absolutely beautiful. The sleep is as good as at home, and we've got an orthopaedic bed. The television is on a bracket, so you set the television at the angle you want before you go, which will face that way. We'll sit and watch that, timer on it and everything. You can switch it off when you want. The heating, I think that's down to personal preference. It's also time of year, but it's all thermostat controlled, so you've got no problem. Once you work out what your temperature is, then that's it. The roof vents, which in here there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 roof vents in here, 5 including the bathroom, which we do open even slightly all the time, just in case you've gone in there and created some steam. It is all waterproof in there, and water resistant surfaces, but you want it up there. So yeah, the roof vents are good, and on a hot day we'll have them wide open, which just reminds me of one thing. Whether you can do a mental checklist or you've got a checklist, when I'm about to set off, if you don't want your van to rock, then you can have some stabilizers which will go on the back, which we've got, because if somebody steps in at night and you're in bed, you can just feel it rock a little bit. They do a perfect job. You've got your electric hookup, you've got your wastewater going into your tank, you may have put a wheel lock on, all these things you've got to think about, and roof lights open. So we do a physical check when we've done. Last thing we're doing is driving away with, supports underneath your van and puncturing pipes or going through your bodywork. So that's the last thing you want. So make sure you've got a good checkup or a little checklist on your dash, which you just read before you go and make sure it's all done. Rear reversing camera on here, which makes it easy because obviously there's a long distance between you and the back. I know where it stops, but I always get out when I'm parking up, probably 3 or 4 foot, and just go and check. Being a Virgo, I suppose that's the type of thing Virgos do. They can never take anything for granted. Got to check once, got to check twice. So we'll go back to the bed again. Yeah, excellent. Underneath from this side, you will see the 2 legs come down. So you pull the units out, 2 legs come down, turn the cushions over, and you, sorry if the light goes off, it's my laptop. You turn the cushions over and put them down, and you're on. But underneath there, if you've not put anything in the back, and you've left space, that's where one of our dogs sleeps. Absolutely loves it under there. She's got her own bed at the left-hand side, which on the right-hand side, as you look at it from the cab looking backwards, is all your electrical, your leisure battery and everything which goes in there. Again, there's cupboards above the bed, but think about that as well, what you're going to put in them, because those, if you've got your bed down, you've got to reach over or kneel on your bed and get those. So if you want things, the hands on, they should be at the front. There's 2 compartments up here, which are either side, which will put all the little bits in. And one thing I will tell you, and loads of people know this, it's the only part of the van which has got the outside plastic facing the shelf, and it condensates. So what we've got in there, we've got small like moisture collectors at the front, which still leaves the whole shelf to cover, and put things in there which you know will not get damaged by a bit of moisture, or you don't mind if there's a bit of moisture on it. We've got Tupperware containers in there with tablets, first aid, stuff like that, so nothing will get wet. Don't worry, it doesn't run through, it's not mad, but there can be some up there. The lighting through the whole van is fantastic. You've got the main lights, you've got the master switch, you've got little, I would call reading lights under every shelf, back, front, side here. As I say, there's an electrical socket here, and you've got a more diffuse light in the corners, where if you just want ambient light at night, the other ones are very downward. So if you're reading a newspaper or anything, absolutely fantastic. We put little things in, extra things, like I say, the shelves and the other shelf that's going in there. Also, on the sink, you've got to try and conserve as much space as possible. We've got a kitchen roll holder, and it's stuck under the shelves, just in the right position. Doesn't affect anything else, and that's it. The whole van has got very good movement and holding facility on the window tilting. It's also got mesh screens, and it's got full screens, so you can totally black out the van at night and find that really beneficial. We also have a separate aerial, which we can put out one of the lights, and it's a good booster aerial, and that works well, but that's another day. So let me just have a think if there's anything else I want to tell you about the front. Security for the van goes without speaking. Tracker, alarm, immobiliser, front wheel lock. We've got the lock which goes across all the 3 pedals. We've got a we have got something else. Oh, it's at home. It's on a compound, gated, locked, alarmed, 360 cameras. If people want to steal your van, they will steal your van. But if you can slow them down, slow them down. And next week we're having the registration number put on the roof, and a code number, and that's so that it can be recognised from above if it ever needed to be, which we hope it doesn't. Let me try and think if there's anything else. Curtains all round, blinds in the front all round. As you can see, this blind up here near the roof, back to front in it that way, yeah. That's the kind of blind that you get on the window sides in the cab, so you can shut those off at night. We don't really get much condensation. I'm just looking round. It's the easiest way. Yeah, carbon monoxide, and smoke detector, fire extinguisher. A lot of people say, where does the fire extinguisher go? Going out of the hab door on the right hand side, mini fire extinguisher just fit nicely in there. The fire blanket is in the bottom of the cupboard, and everybody needs to know where they are. Everybody. Fire blanket, great for outside problems or anything like that, straight over the grill. I would use a fire extinguisher, but just remember, when you let one go, you'll be a week cleaning it up. And if you let one go in the middle of your holiday, you will be spending a full day cleaning your van out, and you will struggle. And I'm just looking around for anything else that I can tell you. Cruise control, obviously, in the front, which is really, really good for the motorways. Oh, yeah. Mirrors. I got a fantastic tip off a lorry driver, and it has worked. When you're driving along and you come to a T-junction which is straight, there's no problems. But the other day, because I'm always in the van with Kerry, I've never noticed, because she'll always say, yeah, you're okay left. What I didn't realise is, when it's not a straight T-junction, and when it's an angled junction coming back away from me, if you understand what I mean, like that, when you get up to the junction, you can't physically see back down, so you can't see anything coming. You can only see directly on the road 6 foot away from you. And the lorry driver gave me some great advice, which is, if you've got an angled junction, as you're pulling up to it, go over to the right and pull back to the left. And it was absolutely bang on. I did that. I took it out for a test drive, did what he said, and I could see the road. Other than that, I put one of these mirrors on the top of my other mirrors, and it angles really wide out. So now if I'm on my own, I can look in the top mirror and I can actually see that, even if I'm parked straight. Because again, as the lorry driver said, when you come up to a junction and pull to the right and then pull back over, people behind you think you've had a few beers. They're wondering what you're doing. But I have seen a few lorries do it, and obviously with lorries they've got to manoeuvre anyway. So, it's the same. So it was a fantastic tip. Really, really good tip. I'm just having another look, see if there's anything else. But yeah, we just have a little, one of these, it's a safety night light, but with a little bit of an air freshener, one of these wax things in it. It doesn't get up to high temperature, just smells nice all the time. Our dogs don't smell, unless they've been in an absolutely filthy lake, but then they're bathed. There's no shower attachment on this outside, but believe me, we will find one. No, I think that's good on this side. As I say, nice roll-out awning outside. There's also a light for the awning, which is operated from the inside, which we still wonder what Elddis were doing. Because when you open the hab door, if you want to leave it open at night when it's a warm night, but it's dark, 3/4 of that fluorescent light is covered. But there you go, that's a little design fault. If they'd have moved it 4-inch that way, been sorted. But I suppose they've done that on the brand new model. Outside, we have the 6 kilo Calagas. We have the vented box, which is obviously standard, and there is room for 2, but we only carry another small one. But the 6 kilo is perfect, fits in the housing as it should do. There's room in there for the blue pipe, the water pipe. If you're getting a hose pipe for your van, blue will not take on as much problems as a normal hose pipe, where you might get bacteria and things like that. So get a food grade hose, and that'll help you as well, keep everything clean. You can put tablets in your water every so often, or you can just get a tank treatment that you put in at the beginning of the season. We just drop one in every so often, and it's fine. But we tend to drink bottled water. We do drink out the tap if we need to, and you can also bring one of those filter kettles along, fresh water, where you just pour it in and leave it and pour it through the filter. But I shouldn't worry too much about it if you're cooking with it. There's absolutely no problem whatsoever. Yeah, on the back of the 135 is what they call the garage door, an access door, and it's great for putting and taking things in and out. I've got an electric bike, and you can put it in there and pull it out and not have to bring it through your van and bang it when you're setting off to go on a holiday. You don't have to store it inside. Put it through the garage door and you're fine there. Any soft furnishings and things like that go in there, and what that does is stop anything from rocking about, knocking your wires on any of your boxes or anything. When you take them out, apart from the bike, like I say, one of the dogs can get in there fine. On the other side, the toilet cassette is really clean and convenient, just like any other caravan or motorhome. Open the door, clip, pull, handle up, wheel away, dispose, clean, treatment, pull back, put it in, shut the door, finished. And there's a red light comes on the toilet system to tell you it's full. So at least you know that as well. You're not no guessing job. So there's that side as well. There's the leisure battery and the hookup on the passenger side. And when you go into that compartment to put your hookup cable in, you pull it under the door and there's a slot out, so it goes in there and comes up nicely. It's in the same compartment as your leisure battery. That's sealed from the inside. It's a really, really tight fit. So what I would say is, while it's in there, it's fantastic. I wouldn't like to think I were messing about with it. It could be a fiddly job. Some of my immediate tools: get yourself a toolkit and get one which is specified for the van. What I mean is, that's all it's for. You don't take it out and take it back in the home. What I would also say, which I think is really, really important, which is what we've started doing, is don't duplicate anything. If you can afford it, if you use a wire in this van, buy it for the van. If you use a plug, use it for the van. If you use a little heater, use it for the van. Because what happens is, you take them in the house, you bring them out, you take them in the house, you bring them out, and when you come to holiday, one of you's taken it out of the van and it's not there, and it's so annoying. I have a tablet I use in the van. I have all my chargers. I have photographic gear, so some of the stuff stays in here, but not the cameras, charging leads and sockets and things like that. But honestly, same with kitchen utensils. Don't be having to load your van and unload it every time you get in it. We can literally, apart from putting the bike in and putting my camera bags in, and Kerry putting the dog food in and the dog accessories, we can literally drive off in this. If I wanted to go out in it for the day to do some photography, which I do, all I've got to do is put my camera gear in and go, because there's always everything. The only thing you might need is a pint of fresh milk when you get there, unless you take one with you. As I said, the fridge is quite good. Kerry's only just said this morning she can fit 3 days' food in that fridge, which is quite good. Which is probably all you'd want to put in there, because there's always a local supermarket, so you can nip in there and get that. Staying on the outside, you've got the waste water tap and the fresh water tap. Fresh water's blue, waste is grey. Says open and close on them, so you can't make a mistake. Obviously, if you're filling it with water and it's open, your water will go in your tank and it'll come back out the other side, so you close it off. When you put your waste grey water tank underneath, you can have a pipe system fed into your wheel away waste water tank. Because of how it's set up, this van, ours is perfect. Wheel it underneath, take the black cap off, and it's that far away from the tank, so we have no problem. Just drops straight in. Yeah, as I was saying to you, tow bar fitted. We've got an extra number plate which goes on the tow car itself, from the A-frame. I've yet to take that on a long ride and test it and drive with it. As I said, photographs and updates will be added to this channel to show you what kind of what we've done. And again, I'm going to say, I don't profess to be anything perfect. This is just a first-time rookie sat in his motorhome, looking round it, trying to give you advice and help with people, because we've spent weeks now doing this in preparation for Wales, and I bet any money when we do, we've got about 5 stops, I think, and I can guarantee there's something where we go, we forgot that, even though we think we're prepared, even though we think we've done it. It's all about preparation, and also moving around the van is about patience, and take your time, because 2 things I haven't got is patience, and I do everything at 100 mile an hour, and I've had to learn to take it down, because you need to give space, somebody comes out the toilet and you walk into the bed, you've got to stop. If somebody's at that end cooking, or just at that end getting something out of the cupboard and you're at this end, one of you has to stand back. So honestly, there's loads and loads of room. We find it so easy to move about in it, and I think you just get into a system. You start to learn about each other in the van and how it works, and that's it, including the dogs around your feet. And I will repeat again that we love our dogs, and as far as we're concerned, they're a major part of the family. And if our dogs didn't suit this motorhome, or vice versa, we wouldn't have bought it. We looked at the VW campers with an awning. We went away in one for 4 nights. Absolutely fantastic, loved it. But if you've got dogs, if you want to get something, you've got to move a dog. At night, you're all sat round each other, whereas now our dogs can sit at that end. They can come up here, go under the table. One of them actually has got a bed here in between the driver and the passenger seat. So there's 2 beds at this end if the dogs want to come in here. And one can jump up on the seat there. So the dogs, if they wanted to, could totally come down this end. And if your dogs are good like that and you train them to do that, that's what they'd do, and they wouldn't affect you in the bedroom at all. Just another pointer, if you were bothered. We've also realised that if you drilled a small hole in the top of the cupboards there and put a curtain, the sprung like elastic thing across, and such as a shower curtain or just a curtain, and it went down to the floor, you could actually close that bedroom off so that the dogs probably wouldn't come in there. Or if you're getting changed, or you just want some privacy, or when I come down here and work in the morning, we can pull that across. We've not done one yet, but I think after Wales we might do that. We'll just see if we prefer it with or without. As I say, if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments. I've no problem, and if you want to correct something, I've got no problem with that at all. I'm sure even I'll be adding things into the comments and maybe doing an updated video or whatever. I just wanted to get something down on, I'm going to say paper, on film, for people to have a little look at, because there's a lot of people who are very technical and you get some great technical and advanced advice off. But when we were buying this, that kind of information we wanted, just how things worked and what it was like, that was harder to find, so I'm hoping this will provide that. The other thing as well is Kerry drives a little Volkswagen up. Obviously we've got the Igo, which is no problem with that. She's driven my Nissan MV200 plenty of times, and that was like a day van. And when she first got in, I said, oh, that's big. So you can imagine what happened when she had to drive this, because when we were looking at it, we took it for a test drive, and she ended up having to drive through Sheffield city centre first time. And that's because I'd sat and had a few beers, and I don't drink and drive. So she said, well, I'm not driving home. I said, well, we better book another night then. So she drove home, and she did fantastic. You've got to get in there, be aware of your left and right width and your mirrors. If you're not sure, stop, give way, take your time. Don't drive fast. They're not speed tools, but I'll tell you what, they've got a lot of torque and a lot of power, so you can pull off. But it's no good coming out of a junction and pulling off sharply, because if you're on a bend, everything in your cupboards will start to move. And our cupboards are packed up tightly, which when I start putting images up, I will put those up as well so you can see. And if not, you'll get rattling as well. Even though they might not come out your cupboards, you'll get constant rattling, and there's nothing worse, especially if you're doing 200, 300 mile. Right, so I think I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll probably think of loads more when I've done this, like we always do. But I can add it to it. We can do a second video, can't we? We can do that. But if there's any questions you want to know, then just give us a buzz, and I'll try and put some images within the video and at the end of the video, just so you can see different things, and it might raise different questions as well. So I hope my little chilled out, relaxed help video is of some use. The sun is just starting to come out now, and it is knocking on a little bit. So I think what I might do now is go and sit outside and get a nice chilled beer and wait for Kerry to come back with the dogs, because that's why it's been very quiet. She's actually gone somewhere this morning. The other advantage of having a car with you, you can nip off and the other one can stay here if you want. So yeah, I'm going to have a chill. We're going to watch a film this afternoon, which we're looking forward to, which we will then tie in with a barbecue, which will turn into a campfire, and she's bringing the cajon, which is mine, and her acoustic guitar, and we're going to have a little gingangoli tonight. If any of you don't know what that is, because it sounds a rude word, it just means getting around a campfire and playing some music. But that's what we're going to do. And yes, we do know it's going to rain tonight, but again, the advantages of a awning outside. Rolls out, campfire at the edge of it, so it's not going to burn it or anything. Heat comes in, and we can play in there, keep dry, and do what we want to do. So until the next edition, or moving on from this video, signing off. See you later.